And we are live. Welcome to For What?
I don't know why it makes me laugh when you say that. You sound like a broadcaster. And we are live.
That's right. Yes. Welcome to Force of Light Entertainment. I'm your host, Michelle. And with me, as always, is my co-host, my sister, Natalie.
Did you have to think about it, Shelley?
No, I was thinking about saying Baby Yoda, but then I went with you.
Well, he can be our co-host.
He is our co-host.
He's the other co-host.
He is. He's the other part of Force of Light Entertainment. And this is episode 54 for those of you listening on podcast or for those of you watching on YouTube. And I see you guys in the chat already. We appreciate you guys showing up in the chat.
Always.
So those of you listening again on podcast, we are just doing the one episode, so you will be hearing our interaction. So that's just so FYI to those of you so that are listening on podcast. And also, if you are, we've got new listeners I've noticed from other countries and places on podcasts. Also, if you're listening on podcast, check out our YouTube channel and subscribe to it because we do additional YouTube content, and you can also join in the chat when we do live shows.
I mean, if you want to watch this duo,
yeah,
and interact, we would love to have you.
Yes, yeah, either way. And if you have just found us, as I see, let's see, where is he? I see in the chat, there we go. The Review Basement. I know they just found us on YouTube, and hello to you, and thank you for subscribing.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, but if you have just found us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and
smash that like button.
Yes, and for everyone in the chat or watching, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. But we will go ahead and begin today. And let's see, let me go ahead and let's do a roll call and say hello to everyone here today. We got Kilo Customs. Hello, how are you? We got our boy Bob is in the house. Hello, Bob.
Always good to see you.
RFB is in the house.
Hey, RFB.
Any World But Ours is in the house. And we will be on his show tomorrow, talking Star Wars and all things Mandalorian. So definitely check us out there.
Definitely.
And I believe you can I believe it's 3:00 Eastern Standard Time. I got to do the math. I've been busy with other things, but I will let you guys know on Twitter. But we will be on with him. And let's see, who else we got?
Just go ahead and subscribe to his channel.
Yes, go ahead and subscribe to Any World But Ours. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel, and you can see us tomorrow on his show. We've got the Review Basement. And again, thank you for subscribing to us. We appreciate you joining the chat. How awesome to be here. And Kat, hello, Vader Girl.
We love Kat.
And we've got Blue Harvest Vintage Toys, and subscribe to them also.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, another great channel. We got Bubba's Toy Box. How are you? I believe you have a channel, I believe, too. Sorry, guys. We kind of got going late, so if I miss someone who has a YouTube channel, just put it in the chat because check out all these awesome channels. And
self-promotion is not a crime here.
No, gosh, no. In fact,
we encourage it.
That's one of the things I love about this community is we're all so supportive, and you guys are so supportive, and we appreciate that, and we want to support you guys too.
So we want to shout you out too.
Yes, definitely. But that's our quick little roll call for now of who's in the chat, and I'm sure more will come in as we get going. But okay, guys, so it's time to talk The Mandalorian. So, of course, we will be talking today, Chapter 14 of The Mandalorian, titled The Tragedy. So join the conversation and let's talk The Mandalorian. Dun, 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 dun. So what we'll do is always we'll give you
our original sound effects.
We'll give you our initial thoughts on The Mandalorian. And Natalie, what were your initial thoughts?
That it was a dang good episode.
Yeah, it was a dang good episode.
So good. You know, I was like, man, this might be my favorite so far. And then
This is how we add side effects. Can you guys hear our Mando? There we go. But you can keep talking.
Yeah, it was a great episode. Of course, towards the end, I got a little
sad.
A little sad. It's my baby right there. You know, seeing him in the little cuffs got me. But it was a great episode. And I know it's a good setup episode.
It was. So my initial thoughts is, wow. Just that this episode.
Dang.
Yeah. I mean, for starters, I do want to say that I called this last week. So our maybe possibilities are becoming, accurate here.
They're becoming a very real thing.
Yes. I called it that. I said I believe that Baby Yoda or Grogu would be captured by Moff Gideon in this episode. And of course, sadly, that was one of the tragedies of this episode. There were multiple tragedies.
Shall I give that prediction 5 hoots?
Yeah. Yes. So that happened. But yes, this episode, what I was going to say is what this season has not yet let me down.
No.
After just a phenomenal episode, the last episode with Ahsoka, we come back and it was just another wow. Yeah. They did it again, and it just feels like every week.
Oops, they did it again.
It just feels like every week when you think, okay, well, they're going to have a lull at some point. They don't. And it's phenomenal. And hello to Michael Campbell in the chat.
Hey, Michael.
But that's
kind of what I thought after the first few episodes. I thought, when Bo-Katan, I thought from here on out, it's kind of gonna keep progressing a little more rapidly. And I think that's pretty much what's happened.
Yeah. And I was still kind of expecting a big drop off from the last week. Not big drop off, but a little bit. And it's just it just. And this, whenever the Mandalorian's finished, we'll go and rate the episodes. We'll do a little episode doing that.
Yes.
This one won't go down as my favorite, but my gosh, it was so good.
So good.
And that's what it's like. I feel like we're going to give every episode 5 stars. That's our 5 hoots. That's why we're going to have to do a rating at the end where we can kind of judge them with each other.
Yes.
Because every week it's just like, wow.
It kind of stands on its own as a great episode.
It does. Every week they just keep making me say, dang, they did it again.
Yeah.
Oops, they did it again. But it's not oops. It's well thought out and calculated. So I loved it. So we'll get into the episode. And I will say this, that first scene, this show, and I've said this so many times now, the heartbeat of the show, and that's why eventually we'll probably talk about this in later detail. People kind of say, oh, Baby Yoda may go somewhere at some point. I don't think so. Baby Yoda is the co-lead of the show with Mando.
Yes.
They are the lead actors of the show. Or lead actor and lead puppet.
How they have, backstage for the actors, the chairs, starring. It's Mando and Baby Yodas are together.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to say.
Yes. And people like Cara and Grief, they are the supporting cast.
Yes.
Like that. But Baby Yoda is a lead character of the show. And that's why the show fundamentally doesn't work without Baby Yoda at this point.
True.
It would be like killing 11 off of Stranger Things. You can't do it.
Or Hopper.
Yeah. They are.
Which is why they didn't.
Yeah, exactly. They are co-leads of that show, really. Yes, and it's just, you can't do that. So with all that being said, the heartbeat of the show is the relationship that we have seen form from the moment Mando put out his finger for the child to grab a hold of at the end of episode 1. It is about their relationship and their bond, and Mando becoming this father figure, as Ahsoka said, to the child. And you just see that in this kind of slow opening. When I say slow, I don't mean slow. This episode was breakneck. It was 31 minutes long, and it moves fast.
And you were never bored.
No, but they give some room to breathe in that first scene where you have the child, Grogu, and Mando. And of course, he, keeps saying his name, and is just having so much fun saying his name.
The way he laughs after he says it, just the little reaction he gets, it's cute how it tickles him.
It does. Well, and it tickles us every time. The sound effect they use for for Grogu when he hears his name. It's just it's pretty hysterical.
So cute.
And but anyways, so then when he takes the ball and he practices with him, he says, so now, guys, we do know that Din Ferrick is basically saying, dang it. That's pretty much what it is.
Right.
And he's like, oh, no, not at you. But he realizes, and this is where I'm saying that there's almost a little sadness. You can hear in his voice, he's sad. And does he tell him, it's so sweet, he's like, you're special, kid, or something like that. Yeah. But he's telling them like, you need training, and basically like, I can't do that for you.
Or he says like, I'm not powerful enough, or
yes.
And I told Michelle, and when he's talking to him in that scene about like what's going to happen, I kind of got the sense it's more like he was talking to himself, like comforting himself, like, you need to, that's what I promised, and you need to go there and they can train you and stuff. And I felt for Mando, because I felt like, he was trying to comfort himself. Like
he was
trying to make that detachment. Like, I'm going to have to let you go.
Yes. And like, cause he's trying to do right by this child.
Right.
But he's attached.
Yeah.
Like he's attached as much as the child is.
Right.
And I said this in a tweet, and I'm going to say this again. We'll get into it later. But I truly believe, and especially that's why last week's episode was so magical. It's like, and I believe Ahsoka knew this. She saw this. I believe that it was the will of the Force that Mando found the child. Like truly, we see that in Star Wars, that there is this cosmic will of the Force. And I believe, or even the way Finn says to Rey, the Force brought us together. Like, yeah. I believe the Force brought these two together, and they will remain ultimately together.
Yeah.
But that opening scene was just so sweet. And of course, they arrive at, which I did not call this right. I was shocked. Were you guys shocked that they went to Tython, or I believe that's how you say it, this planet where this Jedi temple is? I was kind of shocked they went there in this episode. They moved in pretty quick and went there.
He went like right to the plan.
Yes. Like that's kind of, so this episode kind of breaks from the way these episodes have gone. And in another way it does that is
good point.
Mando doesn't have to do something to get something.
It's more like somebody helps him and it's like, I'm going to see this through the end with you.
Yeah. And it's like, finally that Mando gets some help.
Throw Mando a freaking bone here.
Yes. And hello to Darth 1.
Hello.
Yes. How are you guys? But yes, so that was kind of a break of which was nice. It's nice to break up the routine of a season or so. And I love, and it's not really done in a Han Solo way, but I love the way Mando refers to things of the Force. Like he literally says the magic rock.
Right. And he's like, don't you want to learn some more of that, Force stuff?
Yeah. And it's not said like Han Solo in a demeaning, like, oh, I don't believe in that crap type of way.
It's more just like, I don't understand it, and I'm not trying to.
Yeah, like, I don't get this stuff.
But it seems real.
Yeah. And he says it in the most simple ways. I mean, it's just, and as RFB, Tython right off the bat. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, it was awesome, really.
See, one of the things I liked about this episode, is that it didn't make me feel I needed to know anything about Tython before seeing the episode. True. Same for me.
And I think they've done, that's a great point, review base, but I believe they've done such a great point of, they give enough backstory, whether it's Ahsoka, whether it's Bo-Katan or Tython, that you're filled in.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to know any extra material or things like that. Like, they fill you in on each episode, and that's just awesome.
So that, I think it makes it work for the people that are well versed in Star Wars, and for the newcomers, which I think there are so many.
There are tons.
I mean, have like never been into Star Wars.
I mean, I was telling Natalie, we saw, of course, that Mando is now one of the most streamed shows in the world. I mean, it's huge, and it got rated. I forget what it was, but it got rated above Avengers and Stranger Things for something else recently.
Dang,
that wasn't streaming, but it was just people's love. I mean, it was. I mean, it's up there. And hello to Vader Girls Kids.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Children.
And welcome to Force of Light Entertainment.
Yes.
But yeah, that was so awesome that they get there, and just Mando's way of referring, it just makes me laugh. But I love it. I mean, how can you not? So then, of course, they put him on the rock, the magic rock.
Yes.
And
for lack of a better term.
And he's like kind of like, do your thing, kid.
It's kind of like, come on.
Like, I don't know.
Something's supposed to happen.
Like, I don't know what it's supposed to do. And
then he's just, grabbing at butterflies, and Mando's like,
yes. And do you guys think, is there anything to the blue butterflies? I've seen people mentioning that on Twitter. Was it just pretty, or is there something to that? Is there something? I don't know of anything with butterflies, so you guys fill me in if that is kind of something.
I love butterflies. There's one right here. I always say, like, I don't have any tattoos, but if I ever got one, it would be a butterfly.
Our mom's watching. She's like, no. But
I love what they represent, but
well, they're pretty. So anyways, of course, then he begins, I mean, it's like a force shield almost. That's like, I guess, almost like a radio that's going out signaling to someone, as Ahsoka had told us would happen. And at which point, and I see you guys in the chat have already been talking about it. This was something I was beginning to think we wouldn't see Boba Fett again. I was thinking, okay, well, they just kind of showed him and he maybe will come into play down the road or maybe have his own show. I don't know. And so I was shocked when I saw the Slave One arriving. And it was like, Boba Fett's in here. Like, wow. Like it was another, like, I didn't see that one coming really. I mean, I was just kind of shocked.
I think it was a great choice.
This is interesting. RFB says, I've heard the talk that blue butterflies represent rebirth.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It makes sense. You know, they go from being this caterpillar to being sort of in a dark place, and they emerge something beautiful and different.
Michael Campbell says he would have a tattoo that says, this is the way.
I like it.
That's pretty good.
Depends on where you place it, but.
Yes, that is pretty good. Guess where it flies. But yeah, so we get Boba Fett, and that was just kind of like, wow. And that's pretty much the rest of this episode is literally just them on this on Tython, on this kind of this mountain and
beautiful scenery. I think Michelle had pointed out. I was like, that is beautiful.
Do you guys know, did they film that on set, or it kind of just looked like they were out in the mountains of like the hills of like almost Malibu or something, somewhere just in, around Los Angeles with all the beautiful mountains and scenery of California is what it reminded me of, which some people were bothered by that. But I mean, Star Wars has worlds that look like our world.
It's true. That look like Earth. Yeah.
I mean, that didn't bother me at all. I thought it was pretty. You guys know I love when things are shot on location. So
yes, me too.
So I liked it. So pretty much the rest of this episode is just, of course, he discovers Boba Fett, and Boba Fett wants his armor back. So finally, then, of course, we have the stormtroopers that begin to arrive. Oh, and we find out.
Oh, and I will say at first, when he arrived, I'm like, okay, is he going to be a schmuck, or is he going to be, and it quickly turned to, okay, Boba Fett is a good character. And then you quickly are like, it was a moment of, he totally redeemed himself.
He did. And that's what I've heard let's see, here it is. I've heard some people say this, that it felt lower budget, but to me it didn't, because I love when things feel like they're
more like natural.
Yeah. And maybe that is a sign of lower budget. I don't know, but to me it worked. I really love that about it. We got Salacious Rum is in the house. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Boba Fett was awesome. He was kicking butt.
Freaking awesome.
And I will have to say this. I am one of these people. You guys know I grew up with the OT, and it's, I'm an OT diehard. I never understood the obsession with Boba Fett. I just didn't.
Yeah, I mean, same here. I really didn't either.
And I respect everyone who did. Our nephew's obsessed with him.
Loves him. Like, that was his favorite character.
But I never got it. It's like, well, he says like a line, and that's it. And then he goes out like a punk. Boba Fett, where? And he's gone.
Yeah.
I just never understood it. And
now I understand it.
They made me like Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Like, that's what this show did. I've never cared about him at all.
Right.
Which again shows us, guys, when we hear rumors of things, sometimes you may hear something be like, that doesn't really interest me. Everything's about execution.
Yeah.
Because having Boba Fett didn't really mean anything to me, like back when I heard rumors, but the way they executed him in this episode, I loved it. Like, you just made me a fan of Boba Fett.
I mean, he was awesome. He was almost like a cool Game of Thrones character in this or something. Like, his fighting skills when he didn't have his armor. Like, he was just taking them out left and right, like, very skilled fighter.
Like, now it makes me feel like, okay, like, this was truly a worthy opponent who captured my beloved Han Solo.
Right.
Like, this is, I mean, wow. Like, he's awesome.
Dude's got skills.
And then it was nice to have, and again, I said this after the first episode of season 1. We are now seeing that there is nothing wasted with Jon Favreau and with Filoni. They don't waste anything. So we now see
everything's going to tie in later somehow.
Yes, we now fully see the end of episode 5, chapter 5.
Yes.
where you hear Boba Fett.
Had to wait a while.
Yes, we now know it is him walking up to Fennec Shan.
Yes.
And yes, she is alive. And she added so much to this episode.
She's got a new stomach.
She's got a new, a new stomach. And that, that's awesome.
I hear it's all the rage in Star Wars world to have the...
And they kind of have almost like a Han Chewie thing now. It's almost like she's in his service because he saved her life. It's almost like a life debt type thing that they have. So, I mean, that's just cool. And I mean, one of my favorite shots of her, and I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
It reminded me of Wonder Woman. What's her name? Robin Wright's character.
Yes.
The way they would almost jump off and slow-mo would take a bow and arrow.
So she's like mid-air jumping and like,
she turns around into shooting. And it was just an awesome shot.
It
was awesome action.
Shot.
Even her having to take off and run as they are blasting her.
I mean, and she's amazing.
She is. So like, it's just, so you have this crew of bounty hunters now.
Yeah.
And kind of these misfits in the galaxy, all three of them, and I'm counting Mando in that.
Right.
Working together. And it was just awesome.
It was.
And I was even kind of wondering when, after Boba Fett has his awesome scene where he's just taken out. I mean, it
taking names.
Yeah, like the way the armor did. I mean, just there, you hear the helmets being smashed, the stormtrooper helmets. And I will say this too. Did it remind you guys? I know Rodriguez directed this. It actually reminded me when the stormtroopers came out of their ship. It reminded me of some of the shots that J.J. Abrams would get from the prequels of them running out of their ship.
Yeah,
like it reminded me of that and kind of tied back in visually to the prequel. I mean, not prequels, the sequels for me at least. But yeah, I just thought some of this was awesome. And did you guys catch? I pointed out to Natalie the nod when Fennec is able to kick down that rock and the rock begins to roll. Such a nod to Indiana Jones. You had to love it.
I said, those squats were paying off in that moment.
Yeah, she's like, oh.
She's like, quads, don't fail me now.
She'd been working those quads hard in the gym, and it really paid off.
It did.
So that worked out good. But yeah, so I thought that was a cool nod to Indiana Jones. Of course, a Lucasfilm trilogy or beyond a trilogy series. So I thought that was cool. Anything else kind of cool stand out to you about all the fighting? And then, of course, I actually was not scared. I actually kind of thought, is Boba Fett, like, is he just going to go get his armor and leave? Yeah. Like, is he going to not do what he said he was going to do?
I really wasn't worried about that at that point. He kind of seemed committed. I mean, he'd already kind of done things he didn't have to do.
And Nicole Marie says, yes, I was cheering her on when she was kicking. You're like, come on, push.
Yes, push.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I will say I was laughing. I told Michelle, it's like, so the thing is rapidly coming and the guy with the gun, so it's already gotten like 2. And it's like, how did he think that was going to end for him? He's like, no, I'm just going to keep trying to shoot this rock. And it's like, smash.
Yes, and review based, but I had it picked up on the Indiana Jones reference, but I've always thought Fennec is a Star Wars Melinda May from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And she was one of my favorite characters of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I just think her character's great in this. Let's see, Fett with the, how do I say that name? I make Natalie read the words that I struggle to.
Gadarefi?
I feel like, is that from, I believe yes, okay, I know what you're saying. Okay, I got you. It took me a second, but I got it.
And Michael, I don't know if Baby Yoda's going to go evil.
No, we'll talk about that in a minute.
We will.
And let's see, Salacious Robert Rodriguez brought the fight choreography. He did.
Gosh, yeah.
I mean, it was fantastic.
Incredible.
Yeah, fantastic. And I love this episode. Again, it's short. It's 31 minutes long. It's pretty much all action. Yeah. Besides that kind of soft moment at the beginning. And it was a fantastic episode. The different action. And then we get the moment where Boba Fett, you see him look at the ship. And that's where I was like, is he going to leave him? He goes and gets his armor. Then you get him fully on with his armor. And just
one
like,
of those
boom,
yes
boom.
moments.
Just, I mean, such a Western vibe.
He's
just
like, if you thought I was taking names and kicking butt before, watch me now.
And then this show has so done a great job of truly understanding Star Wars humor. Like when Fett, when he does the little thing down with the ships are going off and then boom, and it takes both of them out, and Mando's like, good shot. He's like, I meant to hit the other one.
Like got both regardless.
Like that's just like kind of classic, soft, fun Star Wars humor. It really is.
Another thing I pointed out to Michelle, like upon watching it the first time, like with Mando, when Baby Yoda goes into that state, and he is full on Zen at that time. Just and there's that sort of like almost like definitely like a bubble around him, like a protective whatever.
It's like a force shield.
It's like, okay, the first time and then the second time you got knocked out, and then he's like, but maybe third time's the charm. It's like, it's not going to happen, Mando.
Well,
you're not getting through that thing.
And you do at least, I guess, appreciate as a parent, you would try
like
anything.
He was trying, definitely.
But you were like, dude, you're about to get knocked out a third time.
And then, Michelle makes the point, and it's true. It's like, you could tell he was kind of hesitant to leave him, but he's like, I'm going to go protect you or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like you knew when he left, like, that was setting up for something not good to happen.
I mean, he doesn't know the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi and how he had the high ground, guys. You don't leave the high ground.
Don't ever leave the high ground.
But he left the high ground. And one of those show things that you knew as soon as it happened, it was going to come into play. It's just like, I know we always go back to Stranger Things because we love it. It's like in season 2 when Bob forgets the gun. You're like, he's about to die.
When they do like a camera close up, you're like, oh, that's coming into play.
Yes. And I felt that way when Mando put down the jetpack and didn't grab it back immediately. Yes. You're like, ooh, like that's going to come into play. Like, you're like, get the jetpack.
Right. That's going to have consequences.
Yeah. Like you need the jetpack.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, let's see this. Butterflies are shown as a symbol of the light side of the Force, was shown a few times in the comics. Okay,
I love it.
That's cool.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. So, hello, Red 5 Network, and subscribe to the Red 5 Network for awesome content. And I'm sure it is Ro. Hello, Ro. But yes, I mean, just awesome. And yes, make sure to give us lovely ladies a thumbs up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to RFB for already doing that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, the jetpack was one of those things you're like, oh, like get the jetpack, because you just knew it was going to come into play that he didn't have it on. And okay, so shocking moment number 1, I was truly surprised when the Slave One appeared and Boba Fett appeared. Shocking thing number 2.
I agree. That was cool.
That was cool.
For those listening, Boba Fett's his knee, what would you call them?
Knee rockets is what he said.
Knee rockets, yeah. Because my daughter, she was like, did those just come out of his knee? And I was like, they did, And she's like, well, why? And I'm like, I don't know. It's cool. Put the knee forward and let it go.
Guys, some things don't have to have a reason. They just look good. And thank you to Ro for emphasis on lovely. We appreciate that.
I love you guys.
But okay, so I was surprised by the Slave One. I was surprised that they got to Tython so fast. And then the moment that I'm sure made everyone gasp when they blow up the Razor Crest. I was like,
it was like a death.
Because in Star Wars, I mean, think about if the Millennium Falcon would have been blown up, I would have cried.
Like that would be a tragedy.
It was,
like, truly,
because ships take on a character in Star Wars, and
they're one with their owners.
They are, and it's like the Razor Crest to get blown up, and we'll talk about that a little bit later too, of theories with that or what we think will happen. But I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, crap was really hitting the fan at this point. I mean,
it's the term I thought of, but you did it better.
It was something. He says, stormtroopers, knee rockets, we're out of here. Exactly. They really did. They're like, bye.
They drew a line with the knee rockets.
They're like, we'll do anything, but we're gone now. That's a little bit too much here. So they were out with that. But so yes, so then we get the is it the Dark Troopers or Death Troopers? I feel like I'm mixing up the ones from Rogue One. But we get them flying down, and as Izzy, her daughter, said, she was like, it's very Marvel-like. And I was like, it is Iron Man-like.
It
but
is.
Whatever.
Really.
It works.
But it works, yeah.
And anyways, of course, also too, as soon as Mando left the child, the force shield goes, and you're like, isn't that Murphy's Law? Like, as soon as he walked away.
And you kind of saw it coming.
You did. And of course, they get down and they're able, as Mando is frantically trying to get up there and doesn't have that jetpack. And they are able to gather right as the child kind of wakes up. They get him, Dark Troopers. Okay, thank you, RFB. And the Dark Troopers get him, and boom, they're off. And
that shot.
Because he looks down at Mando like, help me.
Oh, it broke my heart.
Yes, because Mando can see him with his all that's going on under that helmet and his kind of like distance vision. And just to see the child looking down at him like, come get me. It was sad. It pulled the heartstrings. And let's see, someone says, are you guys talking about, someone brought up that it's kind of like when the DeLorean got messed up in Back to the Future 3.
Gotcha.
It was bad. It was like, wow. But anyway, so then you've got Boba Fett, and I thought it was interesting as he goes up and he says, they're back. And you almost hear this fear in Boba Fett's voice. Did you catch that?
Oh, yeah.
Of like the Empire. Like they're back. Like, and it kind of made you rethink Boba Fett.
Like I said, this is not a spy stream.
Yeah. It was kind of
not that he would have experience.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, I mean, my gosh, like it was just, it kind of made me understand. It kind of made you think things again, as he says, yeah, the Empire's back. Like maybe Boba Fett didn't have such a cozy relationship with the Empire.
Right.
Which is kind of how you feel in the original trilogy.
Well, and I don't know about his case, but it seems like in these worlds, so many people get employed.
Yeah.
Kind of like Quill described.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't want to, but it's kind of like life or death. It's like that's just they got into something and they have to do it.
Well, and this has made me rethink Boba Fett. As I said, I was never a huge fan. It's made me rethink him on multiple levels. Because really, is him finding Han for Vader any different than Mando finding the child for which we now know which he knew were Imperials?
Right.
Is it any different? No, not really.
He just didn't know he was going to be so dang cute.
He didn't know that. Yeah, Boba Fett didn't care about Han's looks. But
I mean, he's so dang cute too, but might not have been as appealing to Boba Fett.
Yes. Let's see. No, his relationship was more with Vader, with the Empire as a whole.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it did. This whole episode, I mean, it made me like Boba Fett. So that's kind of how this is going. And of course, so then it was so touching. I love the callbacks as Mando's going through the wreckage of his ship. And he finds the ball, and you're just like, oh, like,
gosh, yeah.
Because that ball now is just so special between their bond and their relationship. I mean,
it's just such a reminder of like what was gone.
Yes, and I mean, it was literally
he's standing in the wreckage of a ship, like that's gone. Baby Yoda's gone. Grogu,
yeah. Again,
more often, but
his nickname's Baby Yoda, so
we'll
mix
alternate
it
back and forth. But yeah, it just. Heartbreaking.
It was. And Scuba Pete's already given it. Man, he's giving it 6 hoots. Are the 6?
I like it.
I mean, we can add a hoot here. But it was fantastic. How about I thought he did, Robert Rodriguez did a excellent job with this episode. Totally. Fantastic job. And so then, of course, he finds the spear, and Boba Fett's like, Beskar. And, of course, you knew that spear was going to be there. I mean, my gosh, Beskar withstands everything.
Anything.
Yeah, anything and everything. But, yeah, that moment again with the ball, it was one of those soft moments of a callback to when it was him grabbing towards that knob that made him go back for the child in episode 3. So, chapter 3. So, it's just, that was touching. And then we hear that, which was kind of like, dang, where Boba Fett, even Mando kind of thinks, okay, well, thanks for your help. And he's like, no, like I promised you if I got this armor that I would protect the child.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. I laughed watching it last night again with Natalie. Fennec Shan, she's kind of like, you can see her face. She's kind of like, crap.
Gotta
like,
do this now.
Yeah. Like may die, but okay. But that was cool to kind of see that. I guess he is a man of his word and a man of honor.
But I mean, she's cool too. And I think she's too
I like
kind of
her.
like in the moment where Mando and her are fighting together, and he's like, you can get out of here and go, and she's like, no, I made a promise.
Yeah.
So I respect that about her.
So it's kind of like honor amongst thieves with all of them. Like it truly is. And just cool scene. So then let's get to that final scene and then we'll talk moving forward. So the final scene of this, we get the evil Moff Gideon and he walks in and the child is just toying with them. I mean, just flinging them, force choking, boom, throwing them.
That was a moment I literally clapped and said, yes.
You're like, yes, Grogu, fling them. And I just thought that was cool. And again, Juan Carlos Esposito, he has to play a character different than he did in Breaking Bad, obviously. It's two very different shows.
And this one, I like how he's so kind of like nice and smooth.
Yes.
I mean, obviously we know he's not nice. He's evil, but it's like he can really pull almost like a charm, out of himself, certainly.
Yes.
Played very differently than the Breaking Bad character.
Oh, totally. And that's what you still see. He's such a good actor that the way he even just kind of is amused with the child, like, let him go.
Yeah.
Let him fling him. And then, oh, you want this? Like he's just playing with the child, and
he's being a jerk, but he does it somehow with such a charming smile. He
does it so well that as the viewer, you're like, dang, he's a good villain.
Yeah.
Like it's so good to have Juan Carlos Esposito in the show. I mean, just fantastic. And let's say this too: while you are here, give this channel subscribe, and remember to find the rest of the Red 5 family. Yes. And
yes,
no need for a shameless plug.
Yeah, we like them.
And subscribe to Red 5 and check out red5network.com for many different Star Wars and nerd type podcasts, which we are a proud member of. So yes, definitely check that out. But yeah, that was cool. And that brings us back to months ago when Juan Carlos Esposito did that interview. And he said that the child was very intrigued by the Darksaber. And so that's kind of interesting. And Natalie, I believe I told you this after watching chapter 5. When Mando was sitting there and you want it, take it. And they've now done that twice because this episode begins that way. Just wait for it. I believe with all my heart, maybe I'm wrong, there's going to be a moment in probably the last episode where Mando's going to say, like, tell him, like, take it. Like, I don't know. I believe that's going to come into play and the child's going to take something. And maybe the Darksaber.
Yes.
But something. And I think they've now done it twice so in your face. I think there's a reason for it. What are you trying to find?
Go up a little bit. I thought there was let's see.
What are we trying to find?
Go up a little more. Oh, Vader taught him. So are we saying Vader taught Moff Gideon?
Oh, are you trying to say that Anakin taught or Vader taught the child? What are we saying? Because here's the thing. With him doing a force choke.
Oh, yeah. Or Anakin could. Okay, I see.
With him doing a force choke, Luke did a force choke.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, like, it's just. And two, he's a child and his life feels threatened. He's just going to do whatever he needs to do.
Yeah. Like, I don't see that. Like, I think there's a comment like, and I get what you're saying. Like, did you see Moff Gideon seem so amused basically at the child being evil? But I don't think it's kind of like, once again, Stranger Things. But, it's like when they're putting her in the thing and she, breaks their necks. It's like, no, that's not ideal. But I don't think in either case they were trying to be evil. It was truly just like, I feel threatened and I'm reacting to the danger and the trauma of the situation.
Yes. And I mean, he was in danger. And let's see, Red 5 says, was Grogu's dark memories tied to being trained in the dark arts? It is an interesting thought. But I definitely think too, he was just in protective mode.
Yeah.
And then guys, only
Like, these guys are not for me.
only the Empire, and such a callback to Leia with when they zap them and being in there, and
it just, oh my gosh, when he's like, and then of course his taunting and with his big smile on his face, and he's like, it just makes you so very sleepy, and he's just reaching out, still trying to get it. It's just so cute and sad. And then I told Michelle, like I said earlier, and when they said cuff him, and then he's just laying there pitiful with the little cuffs on, I'm like, my heart can't take it.
And that's what I was gonna say. Only the Empire has baby handcuffs just on demand.
Seriously.
Like they're just ready for it.
Like, how many do you keep of those?
That's how you know it's the Empire. But as Natalie and I always have random things popping in our heads while we do these shows. As I was thinking this morning of the show, the song that popped in my head that can kind of relay the end of how I feel at the end of this episode when Baby Yoda's like, or Grogu is by himself. I just heard, hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. Because that's basically what is sung. Because Mando is coming for you, Grogu.
Yes, absolutely.
And as we've talked, several he said tiny handcuffs. They were tiny. I mean, how did they have these just ready? The cutest baby. They were cute. I mean, it was sad, but cute. They were very cute baby handcuffs. They're gonna start selling them so you can put them on your child. Like, I mean,
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I don't think that's good.
But Mattel is gonna begin to sell the Empire baby Grogu handcuffs. So that's what's gonna happen. But so then, of course, the episode ends. We now know that Boba Fett is going to help him.
Oh, and I want to say hi to Mark Shabby Geek.
Oh, yes. Hello to Mark Shabby Geek. How are you doing? We know that Mark will dance to that song for us.
Absolutely.
But yes.
My daughter loves his videos.
She literally said, why can't you guys make non-bore or make entertaining videos like Mark Shabby Geek? I was like, well, thanks.
Thanks, Sissy. Sick burn.
Yeah.
So nonetheless, she appreciates your videos.
So she's a fan, Mark Shabby Geek. But yes, so it ends with him going back to Cara Dune, who we now see is literally a sheriff for the New Republic.
Which I think, once again, you saw kind of as definitely a possibility when he had laid that card.
Yes, and definitely. And so then I love so we now know, again, nothing's wasted. We now know the kind of random episode of Chapter 6 last season, Episode 6. It is now coming back into play because Bill Burr's character he now needs him.
Yes.
And I love how Cara's like, I can't really bend the rules now. And then as soon as he says they have the child, her face is like,
game on.
Her face is like, I will cut you. Like, I will murder you.
All bets are off.
Yeah, all bets are off. I mean, she's gonna go after him with them. So saying that, we now lead into, so that's kind of our thoughts on this week's episode. Fantastic episode.
That's a good point.
What do you say?
They probably, that they were getting prepared. They'd been after him.
That's true. For those of you listening, he says, I think they had or you removed it for me to read, but I think they had those handcuffs because they've been after Grogu for months and were prepared to deal with him. That's true.
Yeah.
And let's be real, the Empire probably has enslaved babies before.
Probably, sadly so.
They're pretty terrible people.
They are.
But as Any World But Ours says, such an amazing episode.
Truly.
It truly was a great episode. And so that leads us into, okay, so how many hoots do you give this episode? Shout out to Conversations podcast, part of the Red 5, for giving us the hoot system.
The hoot system.
Thanks, Charles.
Girl, you already know I give it 5 hoots.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm starting to feel bad that I'm giving like everyone 5 hoots, but I mean, I feel like this gets 5 hoots. I mean, you guys drop in the comment section how many hoots out of 5 this gives, but I'm going 5 hoots again.
I mean, they're killing the game.
They are killing the game. I mean, this season, forget sophomore slump. This has been, as I said,
a sophomore bump.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. I mean, they got a glow up in their sophomore year. So Blue Harvest says 10. Are we giving it 10 hoots? I mean, we're jumping even beyond 5.
Let's go to infinity and beyond here.
Scuba Pete says the season's just kicking butt.
It is.
I mean, totally. Vader Girl is giving it, she's giving it 5 hoots. I mean,
Totally agree.
he said, and a half.
Love
A
it.
hoot and a half.
5 hoots and a half.
Yeah, it gets 5 hoots. So now we move into our section of maybe next week, possibly on The Mandalorian.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So, of course, the obvious here is that they're going to get Mayfield, Bill Burr's character.
Yes.
So that's going to be the obvious. Will that happen? Will that be the full episode, do you think? Or
kind of that mission and maybe something at the end to get to the next one.
Or I'm really hoping the first episode was like how long? Like 50 minutes? I would love, this was the shortest episode of the season. I would love if the last 2 episodes are closer to 50 minutes to an hour.
Me too.
I really want that because there's just so much we can do here.
Yes.
And so I really wish that the first half of next week would be them getting Bill Burr's character, Mayfield. And then the last half would truly begin moving into almost, basically a continuous story to the rest of the season.
Yes.
That's what I want to see. And which leads us into, we've said this before, and Red 5 says a 2-part
season finale.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we'll believe. And a prison break. We're definitely getting a prison break.
Yes.
He says a galaxy full of hoots. It really is.
Absolutely.
And Red 5 says each episode, it does just feel like they just keep getting, it's like when you feel like they can't get better, it feels like they just do.
They do.
I mean, they truly do. Yeah, and he says it'll be as long as the story needs it to be. Yeah, and it probably will. I just feel like there's a lot to do in this last 2 episodes. Because you've got a lot of characters that are going to begin to be a part of it. Because clearly, I believe Cardoon, probably Grief Karga will be a part of it. And will they figure out who's the spy there? They possibly can. But I believe we're going to have them. Of course, we now have Fett and we have Fennec Shan working with them. And you guys know that, and I believe this could maybe happen the final episode. I definitely believe that we will see Bo-Katan again because, they had colliding destinies basically without knowing it.
Right.
Because she's seeking the Darksaber with Moff Gideon. And of course, he now has to find Moff Gideon for the child.
Yes.
So I believe Bo-Katan will be in the finale. Maybe she's saved to the final episode. But I think she'll be in it. And I mean, it's literally, as I tweeted out, Avengers Assemble! Like
that's what I see, realistically.
Like we're getting a big final 2 episodes, I believe.
Yes.
And I don't really think Ahsoka will be back. I could see,
you never know.
I could see it happening.
Possibly maybe.
Yeah, possibly maybe. I don't really see it. I will be more shocked if she comes back. Now she could, because she could have sensed something through the Force of they need me and come back. But I don't really think she will. But that does leave us to this point. The child was in that trance calling out to a Force, a Jedi for quite a while. So I have to believe someone, it reminds me of Rogue One. Do you think anyone's listening? Someone was listening. I believe someone got that transmission. And as much as my mind keeps saying, there's no way they could bring Luke Skywalker into this.
You just never know.
It's like he makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Like he truly does. Like who is the strongest Force user in the galaxy at this time? Who's the strongest Jedi? I mean, outside of Ahsoka, who is an option, Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Like this is 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Come on, Sebastian Stan.
And it's just like, and the reason I say this, every time I think this show won't do something, or maybe they can't do that, they keep blowing my mind and they keep exceeding my expectations. So who heard that transmission, and will they show up maybe for a cliffhanger for the end of this season? And Mark Shabby Cat, that's how please be Luke. I mean,
serious. That would just be awesome.
Just be Luke. I mean, that would just, and someone said Mace Windu. and I hear that, I think Luke makes the most sense. And it's just, and someone said Ezra. It could be Ezra. It's just, is Ezra still with Thrawn? Is kind of my question with the Ezra thing. Is he tied up with Thrawn still, possibly? Salacious Rum. A force-sensitive monkey lizard is roaming the galaxy.
No, I think you've nailed it on that. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Like, I just really
Salacious, your comments sometimes. Like there was one a couple weeks ago. Michelle, I put it on the screen, and it was like something about.
Yeah, she was cracking up internally.
I was trying not to crack up because I.
She was cracking up.
I cracked up after the show about being the best lover in the
yeah,
the monkey lizard.
And definitely subscribe to Salacious Rum's channel too
if you want crazy stuff.
He's funny. And Blue Harvest says Ezra will be in Ahsoka series. I definitely believe that. Totally believe that. And anyways, here's the thing: Luke Skywalker makes sense. And it wouldn't just be fan service. It now fits in the show.
Yeah.
He makes the most logical sense for the show. I mean, what guys, they wouldn't even have to fully have Sebastian Stan or whatever they want to do for that casting. What if the end of this series ends with us just seeing the black glove?
Yeah.
And like the green saber or something.
Yes.
I mean, my gosh, like that would be them upping the ante again. And it would leave us like, I mean, that would be incredible. And I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying more and more it makes sense to happen.
We want it to happen.
And here's the thing, as with Ahsoka, with Bo-Katan, it's not gonna, even if Luke Skywalker does appear, it would probably be for one episode and gone.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna be like, this is Mando and the child show. Nothing's gonna overtake that or overshadow it. They just give us these awesome moments that make sense in the course of the show.
Yes.
Like Ahsoka is not just thrown in there without making sense. She made sense in that episode. And if Luke is in it, it will make sense. Like and to me right now, it makes sense.
Yes.
Like he called out, and there's only X amount of people. Of course, Cal from the video game could show up.
And like she had said, there's not many Jedi out there.
No.
Not many left. So
there's not.
Who could it be?
So you got Ezra, who I think is tied up with Thrawn, but maybe he's not anymore. You've got Cal from the video game, who that would make sense because he was trying to find force-sensitive kids at the end of that. But you also have Luke, and I mean, it makes sense, guys. It makes sense, and we would go crazy.
Kylo Custom Squad could be Ezra because Ahsoka asked where Thrawn was, and that's true.
Oh, it definitely can be Ezra.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely an option. I'm just wondering if he's still with Thrawn. Is my thinking on that.
Right.
But it can be him. And I'm going to be pumped with any of the options. It's just Luke would be one of those that's like, wow. Like,
yeah.
When we all thought this was just kind of a small show, and then nope. Like, and as Jon Favreau said, like this world's getting bigger. Like, and it makes sense to me.
I like it.
I mean, I personally I think that would be awesome. And what do you guys think? I don't really know. Does Boba Fett, I don't know that he needs his own show. I would just love to see him come in time from time in this show.
Float in and out.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic for his character. And Luke would definitely be a whoa factor. I mean, totally, 100%. And it would just be awesome, guys.
Let's make it happen.
So I definitely believe he will. So guys, I was right. I said with Charlie's
she's like, not to toot my own horn.
just saying. I was right in our discussion. And those of you listening on podcast, check out our discussion with Charlie Skywalker from 2 weeks ago now, where we just kind of theorized, where he was thinking, which I thought could be possible, that it would end with the child be taken and being an Empire kind of cliffhanger. I said, well, I think they could take him before and then kind of close that, because it just kind of feels like that's more the way the show is. It's very family friendly.
Yeah.
Our hearts can't handle the child being with Moff Gideon.
I mean, my heart could barely handle it this episode.
But remember, hold on, because Mando's coming.
Because he's coming.
And also, as I tweet out, remember that the child is one with the Force. The Force is with him. And the Force will be with him this week. Absolutely. As we have to wait to see what happens. And as I said last week, kind of closing thoughts, this now puts the child in awesome company, because as I pointed out, let's see, Obi-Wan, let's see, what did he say? To make the call?
To make Luke happen.
Yeah.
Make that call.
Yeah.
We want you to.
I mean, I want to see Luke happen. But this now puts the child, in awesome, it puts him in awesome company.
Yes.
Obi-Wan was captured. I mean, I feel like, was it Anakin captured at some point? Leia was captured. Luke was captured. Han was captured.
Yeah.
Rey was captured. Poe was captured. Finn was captured.
Chewie was captured.
Chewie was captured. I mean, it's like, who wasn't captured?
Yeah.
If you're not captured, you're just a nobody in
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Right.
So it's like, the child will be fine.
Yeah.
Grogu's going to be fine, and they're going to get him back, and it's going to be awesome. Let's see. Let's see. I can see a way shot, a cloaked figure kneeling down and feeling around where the Razor Crest was, and then quickly, oh my gosh, that would be awesome.
We love it.
Okay, let me read that out again for those listening. He said, or Darth One said, I can see an away shot of a cloaked figure kneeling down and feeling the ground where the Razor Crest was, and then a quick zoom to a black glove pulling something up and Luke's face.
Yes.
Chilling, man. Chilling.
Goosebumps.
I mean, and wouldn't it be fitting? It would fit in with the sequel trilogy with The Force Awakens if they literally leave it on a Luke Skywalker cliffhanger.
Yes.
That would be awesome. I mean, it would be so awesome. So
love it.
But we're definitely, guys, we're in uncharted territory. But don't worry, Boba Fett and all them, they're going to get the child back.
Oh, they are.
The child is
100%.
And we're going to have an awesome final 2 episodes, I believe. So this just keeps getting, this season, it's just awesome, guys. And it just keeps getting better and better. Let's see. Hey, ladies. Oh, yes. Hello, Reynolds Reviews. Thank you. Thank you for showing up.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, it's just awesome episode. And we're in for 2 awesome final episodes, I belive. But I mean, isn't it so much fun that this show is just it's just bringing back the Star Wars fandom. It's bringing back people that maybe didn't love the sequel trilogy. It's bringing back, everyone loves it. And people who didn't even like Star Wars before now like Star Wars.
Well, you know that meme? I'm sure you guys have seen it. Something like Mando's got something on its back and it said, how does it feel to carry all of Star Wars on your back?
I mean, and I just love this show, guys. To me, it's tying in the prequels, originals, and sequel trilogy into the show. Like it's kind of, it's enhancing all of them somehow.
It is.
I mean, fantastic. I mean, just awesome show. Fan-freaking-tastic. I mean, it's awesome. Just incredible. So I'm excited for what's next and can't wait to talk about those with you guys. The next episode next week with you guys. Just awesome. Any final thoughts, Natalie?
Freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome. And we want Luke.
We do.
We want Luke. Ignite the green. Let's bring that hashtag back. I mean, we want Luke.
Yes.
And okay, here, I want to say this. For those of you, and I know some of you in the chat, who are not the biggest fans of Luke's portrayal in The Last Jedi, bringing Luke Skywalker into this, just even for an episode.
Yeah.
You could literally do for those fans what you just did for Boba Fett.
Right.
To where we're like, oh, like you just let him go fully out. Like just let him, I mean, just go full
I totally
power.
see what you're saying. Yeah, let him see him like in his prime, like just tearing up the place.
I mean, that would just be incredible.
Yes.
And it would make everyone happy. No one would not be happy with that because it still fits within the realm of the sequel trilogy. It just would give them what those people, what they wanted so bad.
Let's just say our brother would be happy.
He'd be thrilled. So, and there's many that would be. So I just think that would be incredible. But this season, it just keeps getting better. And I believe it's going to ramp up the last 2 episodes too. And I'm just waiting for the child to grab the Darksaber. I really am. I think it's going to happen. And so that's awesome. But that's kind of it for this week's episode of Force of Light Entertainment. And we appreciate you guys joining the conversation. If you're new, go ahead and click that subscribe button for Star Wars content or just entertainment discussions in general. And also give the video a thumbs up. and subscribe to our podcast also. And if you want to find us, you can find us at Force of Light Entertainment on Instagram and Twitter. I am Michelle34 Smith on each. Natalie?
I am Natalie R. Grace on Twitter and Nat Loves Bella07 on Instagram.
Yes, we appreciate you guys for joining this conversation. And next time, let's talk some more Mandalorian. But before I close out, we again will be on tomorrow, Any World But Ours, talking Star Wars. And also check out all these lovely channels, Roland's Reviews, so many channels we've mentioned in the chat for you guys to check out. And we appreciate you guys in the chat.
Yes, and thank you for the compliments. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, RFB.
Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you so much. You guys make the chat so much fun.
Roland Reviews. I mean, I've gotten to the point I really like doing live streams. I love interacting with you all.
Yes.
You know, to me, it's just more fun. Like, 'cause you guys are what makes it awesome.
Yes. And I've been thinking, Natalie doesn't know about this. I've been thinking, we will always have our one podcast episode a week that we also put on YouTube. But I've been thinking we may need to begin to do like a weekly live episode, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like about something in entertainment. I don't know. We're thinking about it. We're trying to add and do new stuff to the channel. So, but yes.
And thank you, Any World But Ours. We're looking forward to being with you tomorrow.
Yes, that will be awesome. So looking forward to that.
Thank you, Kylo Custom Squad.
Yes, thank you guys in the chat. And we will let you guys know we should be having a live stream next week too, to discuss, I'm sure, another awesome episode that will be coming. And thank you to everyone listening on podcast version, where all places podcasts are. Thank you very much, Mark Shabby Geek. Yes, thank you guys. And we will catch you guys next time. And remember, this is the way. All right, see you guys.
Bye, guys.